Have you ever woken up in the morning, stretched your arms, and thought to yourself, why do I feel so sluggish today? Maybe you've noticed your energy isn't what it used to be, or your muscles feel weaker, your joints a little stiffer. You chalk it up to age, right? It's just part of getting older. But what if I told you that some of that tiredness, that brain fog, even those aches and pains, might not be just from aging, but from something else entirely? Here's something most people don't realize: certain medications that doctors commonly prescribe, ones you might have been taking for years, could be making you feel older than you actually are. They might be stealing your energy, slowing your mind, and even weakening your muscles. And the worst part? Most people have no idea. That's why today, we're talking about 4 common medications that could be doing more harm than good. Now, before we go any further, I want to make something very clear. This isn't about stopping any medication cold turkey. No. Always talk to your doctor before making any changes. But it is about knowing what's going into your body and asking the right questions, because your health is too important to leave on autopilot. So, let's start with the first one. You've probably heard of this type of medication before, and maybe you or someone you love takes it every day. Yep, the cholesterol-lowering drugs. Millions of people take them. Maybe you do, too. Doctors prescribe them to reduce the risk of heart disease, which is, of course, important. But here's the catch: statins have a little-known side effect that can make you feel older, weaker, and more fatigued. Ever felt like your muscles just don't have the strength they used to? That getting up from a chair takes more effort? Or maybe you feel drained all the time, even after a full night's sleep? That could be your statin at work. Here's why: statins reduce cholesterol, but they also reduce something called CoQ10. CoQ10 is an essential nutrient that helps your cells produce energy. When your body doesn't have enough of it, your muscles can feel weaker, your energy can plummet, and you may even experience pain or cramping. And that's not all. Some studies suggest statins could be linked to memory issues, too. Now, does that mean statins are bad? No, not necessarily. For some people, they're essential. But what it does mean is that if you've been feeling more sluggish, experiencing muscle weakness, or noticing brain fog since starting a statin, it might be worth a conversation with your doctor. There could be alternatives or even supplements, like CoQ10, that can help counteract some of these effects. The point here isn't to scare you. It's to empower you. Because the more you know about how medications affect your body, the better decisions you can make for your health. And that brings us to the next one, another common medication that could be quietly making you feel older than you are. Have you ever had one of those days where you just feel off? Like your brain isn't firing as quickly as it used to? Maybe you forget where you put your keys, lose track of conversations, or feel like you're in a mental fog. It's frustrating, isn't it? And again, the first thought is, well, I guess this is just what happens when you get older. But what if it's not just age? What if something else is at play, something that's happening inside your body because of a pill you take every day? That brings us to the second medication that might be making you feel older, weaker, and foggier than you really are: anticholinergic drugs. Now, I know, that's a big word, but let's break it down. Anticholinergic drugs are found in all sorts of medications, ones that you might not even think twice about. They're in allergy pills, sleep aids, bladder medications, and even some antidepressants. Drugs like Benadryl, certain muscle relaxants, and even medications for acid reflux can fall into this category. And here's why that matters. These drugs work by blocking a chemical in the brain called acetylcholine. Acetylcholine is crucial for memory, focus, and even muscle movement. When you don't have enough of it, you might start noticing symptoms like feeling groggy, especially in the morning, having trouble remembering things, feeling like your thoughts are slower than usual, even struggling with balance or coordination. And it gets worse. Research has shown that long-term use of anticholinergic medications is linked to an increased risk of dementia. Let that sink in for a moment. The very pills that are meant to help with things like allergies, sleep, or overactive bladder might actually be harming your brain in the long run. Now, think about this. Have you ever taken a nighttime sleep aid and woken up feeling more tired than before? That's the anticholinergic effect. It's not just making you drowsy, it's affecting the way your brain functions. And if you've been on these medications for years, the impact can build up over time. But here's the good news, there are alternatives. If you take an allergy medication that has diphenhydramine, like Benadryl, you might want to ask your doctor about non-drowsy options. If you're on a sleep aid, there may be safer ways to improve your sleep without relying on medication. The key is knowing what's in your medicine cabinet and asking the right questions. Because at the end of the day, the goal isn't just to live longer, it's to live well. To have energy, to have clarity, to feel strong. And sometimes, the smallest changes, like switching a medication, can make the biggest difference. Now, we've talked about statins and anticholinergic drugs, but there's another medication on this list that might surprise you. It's something many people take daily, without realizing the toll it could be taking on their bodies. Let me ask you something, have you ever felt like your muscles just don't have the same strength they used to? Maybe climbing stairs feels harder, or carrying groceries leaves you feeling more exhausted than before. You might think, well, that's just part of getting older. But what if it's not? What if there's something in your daily routine that's silently draining your energy, making your muscles weaker, and leaving you feeling years older than you actually are? That brings us to the third medication on our list, proton pump inhibitors, or PPIs. Now, if you're wondering what that is, let's clear it up. PPIs are a type of medication used to treat acid reflux, heartburn, and stomach ulcers. You might know them by names like omeprazole, Prilosec, pantoprazole, Protonix, or esomeprazole, Nexium. These drugs work by reducing the amount of acid in your stomach, which can provide relief for those who suffer from GERD, gastroesophageal reflux disease. And at first glance, that sounds like a good thing, right? After all, who wants to deal with heartburn and acid reflux? But here's the problem. Your stomach acid isn't just there to cause discomfort, it plays a crucial role in helping your body absorb essential nutrients like calcium, magnesium, and vitamin B12. And when PPIs block acid production, they also block your body's ability to absorb these key nutrients properly. And do you know what happens when your body doesn't get enough of these nutrients? Weaker bones. Without enough calcium, your bones start losing density, increasing your risk of fractures and osteoporosis. Muscle weakness and cramps. Magnesium is critical for muscle function. A deficiency can leave you feeling weaker and more prone to cramping. Brain fog and memory issues. A lack of vitamin B12 can lead to cognitive problems, including forgetfulness, difficulty concentrating, and even mood changes. And here's something most people don't realize, long-term use of PPIs has even been linked to a higher risk of kidney disease, heart disease, and infections. So, if you've been taking these medications for a long time, it might be time to have a conversation with your doctor. In some cases, people can manage acid reflux with dietary changes, like avoiding trigger foods, spicy foods, caffeine, and processed foods, eating smaller meals, or not lying down right after eating. And if you do need medication, there are other options, like H2 blockers, such as famotidine or Pepcid, that might be a safer alternative for long-term use. The point is, you deserve to feel your best. You shouldn't have to accept muscle weakness, brain fog, or brittle bones as just a part of aging, especially if something as simple as switching a medication could help. Now, we've covered 3 major types of medications that might be making you feel weaker and older than you really are. But there's still one more left, and this one is something millions of people take every day without realizing how much it could be draining their energy. Have you ever had one of those mornings where you wake up feeling sluggish, like your body is just heavy? Maybe your arms and legs feel stiff, your energy is at an all-time low, and no matter how much you try to shake it off, you just can't seem to wake up properly. You might chalk it up to a bad night's sleep or just another day of getting older. But what if the real reason was something sitting in your medicine cabinet? That brings us to the fourth medication that could be secretly making you feel older and weaker: antihistamines, specifically the older, sedating ones like diphenhydramine, Benadryl, chlorpheniramine, and hydroxyzine. Now, I know what you're thinking. Antihistamines? Aren't those for allergies? And you're right. These medications are commonly used to relieve allergy symptoms like sneezing, itching, and a runny nose. Some people also take them as sleep aids because they cause drowsiness. But here's the issue: while these medications can be effective in the short term, using them regularly, especially as you get older, can take a serious toll on your brain and body. Let's talk about the brain fog problem. These antihistamines work by blocking histamine, a chemical in your body that plays a role in allergic reactions. But histamine isn't just responsible for allergies, it's also important for staying alert and focused. When you take an antihistamine, it doesn't just clear up your runny nose, it also crosses into your brain and slows down important signals that help with memory, learning, and focus. That's why many people feel groggy and sluggish after taking them. And here's the scary part: research has shown that long-term use of these older antihistamines may actually increase the risk of dementia. That's right. Medications like diphenhydramine have been linked to cognitive decline and memory problems, especially in older adults. But the effects don't stop there. Because these drugs have a sedating effect, they can also lead to muscle weakness, dizziness, and an increased risk of falls. And for older adults, a fall can mean broken bones, hospital visits, and a long road to recovery. If you've been taking antihistamines for allergies, sleep, or even as a cold remedy, it might be time to look at other options. For allergies, newer, non-sedating antihistamines like loratadine, Claritin, or fexofenadine, Allegra, don't cross into the brain as much, so they don't cause as much drowsiness or cognitive decline. And if you're using something like Benadryl to help you sleep, you might want to explore natural alternatives, things like melatonin, magnesium, or even simple bedtime habits like turning off screens and dimming the lights an hour before bed. The bottom line is this: you shouldn't have to trade your mental clarity, strength, and balance just to get relief from allergies or a better night's sleep. If you've been taking these medications regularly and have noticed more grogginess, brain fog, or weakness, now is the perfect time to talk to your doctor about safer alternatives. Now, we've covered 4 common medications that could be making you feel older and weaker. But before we wrap things up, there's one more thing you need to know, something that could make all the difference in taking back your energy, strength, and vitality. Let's talk about it next. So here we are. We've talked about 4 common medications that might be making you feel older, weaker, and more tired than you should. And let's be honest, some of these might have surprised you. Maybe you've been taking one of them for years without ever questioning it. Maybe you've noticed the side effects but never connected the dots. Or maybe you're now realizing that some of the fatigue, brain fog, or muscle weakness you've been dealing with isn't just part of aging, it's something you can actually change. That's the most important thing to remember. Feeling tired, sluggish, or weak doesn't have to be your new normal. You have the power to take control of your health, one small step at a time. And the best place to start? Have a conversation with your doctor. If you're taking any of the medications we discussed, bring it up at your next appointment. Ask if there are safer alternatives. See if your dosage can be adjusted. And if you're taking something out of habit, like a daily antacid or an antihistamine for sleep, it might be time to ask if you even need it anymore. But beyond medications, there's something even more powerful you can do starting right now to feel stronger, sharper, and more energized: move your body. I know. You've heard it before. But I'm not talking about running marathons or spending hours at the gym. Even something as simple as a 15-minute walk, some gentle stretching, or light resistance exercises can wake up your muscles, improve circulation, and help clear out the brain fog. And let's not forget about hydration and nutrition. Many medications can cause dehydration, and dehydration alone can make you feel tired, dizzy, and mentally sluggish. So, make sure you're drinking enough water throughout the day. And when it comes to food, fuel your body with real, whole foods, lean proteins, healthy fats, colorful vegetables. The better you nourish yourself, the better you'll feel. Most importantly, don't accept feeling weak or exhausted as an unavoidable part of aging. You deserve to feel strong, capable, and full of life. And if this video helped you realize that, even just a little bit, then you're already on the right track. If you found this information helpful, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more videos like this. And let me know in the comments, have you ever experienced unexpected side effects from a medication? What changes have helped you feel more energized? Thanks for watching, and here's to living your best, strongest, healthiest life at any age.